is WVVA in Focus, a weekly program about important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. This morning, we're going to discuss a short film. It was shot right here in West Virginia, and West Virginians are also behind this project. So the film is called The Usual Route, and for the past year and a half, it's been screening nationwide at film festivals. And now you can watch this film, which you're seeing right here behind me, a portion of it. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and it won't take you long at all to sit down and watch it. It's actually less than 10 minutes long, and again, it's free on YouTube right now. So this morning, I have 4 guests joining me via Zoom. We have Corey Warner, the film's director. Corey was born and raised in Bluefield, West Virginia, and graduated from Bluefield High School in 2008. Also joining me this morning is Steven Dunn, and the film is based on Dunn's novel called Potted Meat, and he was born in Welch, raised in Kimball. He graduated from Mount View High School in 1999. Also joining us right now via Zoom is LaVon McLaren. LaVon graduated from Bluefield High School in 2020, and he's the main character in the film. And also Vernon Oakes is joining us. Vernon directed the film. He was born and raised in Bluefield, and Vernon graduated from Bluefield High School in 1965. So I want to thank all of you for joining us, and we're using technology here and staying safe and social distancing. But Corey, I want to start with you. So the film starts at night, and then we see LaVon's character picking up trash. Then we see him interacting with several men and a woman. Kind of walk us through what this film is really about.
I guess you'd say this film is about responsibility, choices, and decisions. Like you said, it starts with a young man early in the morning about to start his first job as a garbage collector, and then just follows him over the course of 1 or 2 days as he balances the various influences around him in his small town, as he's kind of contemplating his great ambitions and what he's going to do as he's starting to enter adulthood.
Right, and anyone can jump in here, but how did this idea come about? I know it's based on the book, but how did this idea come about to go ahead and film this?
Well, I've just been looking for a lot of material that I can sink my teeth into. I've been working out in Los Angeles as a cinematographer, and I just really wanted to find a story that I could connect to and a story that I felt passionate about. So I was looking for material, and 3 of the criteria was: 1, that it was based on a book adapted from a piece of work; 2, that it took place in West Virginia; and 3, it was about the Black experience. So once I found Steven Dunn's novel, I just immediately felt a connection and felt like I understood the characters and could relate to them, and was just really excited to try to turn his piece into a short film. So I reached out to Steven and told him how passionate I was about the novel and my vision for what we can maybe do, and how I'd love to make a feature film version out of it. But right now we could start as kind of a proof of concept and do a short film version of it. So I took some selections out of it and showed Steven what I was kind of thinking and working on, and was hoping to get his blessing and kind of go from there.
All right, LaVon, I'd like to ask you a question. You're the main character in the film. Tell us more about your character, and how did you get ready and prepared to become this person?
See, me, I honestly looked at the role whenever I first got it. I looked into it, read this book, and studied the character, because like if you want to get into a character, you gotta know more about the book. You gotta know more. You gotta like just jump and dive into the character. So like you just take time, study, and just learn and adapt, like, because that lifestyle, like everyone doesn't live that type of lifestyle. So it's just like you gotta analyze and sit down and just picture what's going on, stuff like that.
Right, and I'm glad you touched on the lifestyle. I do want to let our viewers know this is a mature film as well. The film does have some cuss words in there, so it's made for mature audiences. LaVon, tell me more about what the theme is, though, behind the film. Describe it to our viewers, if you could summarize it for us.
The thing behind the film, it's just like it takes place in multiple places. So it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like in the moment, it's just I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's like in the moment.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to kind of describe.
Yeah, it's like in the moment you're in like one place trying to like sit down and like be like you're struggling between the life decisions you're trying to make, whether you want to do stuff the right way and like actually be morally right, or if you want to join a lifestyle that you're not really into, and it's like you're stuck in a decision. Like you gotta try to make a choice.
Well, right, because I noticed in the film a lady approaches your character's door, and it looks like she's asking for like drugs or something like that, or pills or something of that nature. So when you mentioned that character is struggling, I found that to be true when I was interpreting it as a viewer, that character is just kind of struggling with some life choices and things like that. And I do want to ask Steven a question now. It is based on your book, Steven, called Potted Meat. So from what I understand, the book is about masculinity, loss of innocence, things like that. Can you jump in here and kind of explain to our viewers what your book is about?
I think it is so about growing up, childhood in West Virginia, and it's also about tenderness and caring, especially between the older characters and the main character in the book. Like they take time to teach the young person something. So I think even amongst these harsh conditions where people have to make difficult choices and struggle with all types of things, there's still a tenderness. So I don't want to lose sight of that also, the tenderness and the care from like generation to generation that we have in a lot of our communities.
And what inspired you to write your book?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What inspired you to write your book? Was it based on your life here in West Virginia, what you observed, or what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's based on myself growing up, a lot of things that I've seen, and just also leaving West Virginia. Like I've always felt some type of guilt behind that, and I know people struggle with things, and I didn't want to like transcend, right? Like, oh, I've left, I'm better than everybody. So I wanted to write something that was caring and loving, that I paid attention to the place and the people. So.
All right, and Vernon, I'd like to ask you a question. You directed this film, so how did you prepare to direct this short film, and what challenges did you face as you were directing it?
So I found out about the film because I also graduated from Bluefield State College in 1970. I was at an alumni event, and I met Corey's mother, and she spent out of 30 minutes, she spent 20 minutes talking about how proud she was of her son. So when I talked to Corey, he told me about the film, and I put up about 50% of the money. I wanted to see this film come alive because the choices that West Virginians have to make, matter of fact, young people have to make today. I didn't have a choice to sell drugs or take drugs. When I was at Bluefield High School, or I only smelled marijuana when I was a junior at Bluefield State. So they get into this world at a much younger age and have a choice to go make quick money that could end up with death or in jail, or in this case, take out the garbage. Okay, and that's a hard choices. The no good jobs in West Virginia compared to quick money that leads to a very, very hard life. So I've taught college 11 years of my life, and I've talked to kids, and I like talking to young people about what choices they have and what responsibilities they have, and how will society hold them accountable for those choices, and what will they look like when they become 65 and the choices that they make. So I really liked the movie. I liked Steven's work and Corey's work, and it was fun going to Kimball and Welch and meeting Levon and his younger brother and mother and father, just being in that space in that time.
All right, well, gentlemen, we do have to take a quick break. We have much more to talk about when it comes to the short film. Again, it's called The Usual Route. You can look it up on YouTube, but we'll be right back right after this. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. This morning, we're talking about a short film called The Usual Route. It was shot right here in West Virginia, and it's been created by West Virginia natives are a big part of this film. And this morning, we're sharing information with you because this film is available for you to watch right now, free on YouTube. So I'd like to welcome back our guests, all who have been a part of this film. They've been sharing some valuable information with us. And guys, anyone can jump in here, but the film was shot in 2018. Tell us more about where the film was shot and just the process of getting it produced.
Yeah, the film was shot in and around Bluefield, Welch, and Kimball, West Virginia. pretty much trying to be true to the locations of the story of the novel. So in the process of shooting it, we got back, started our pre-production, scouting on locations, trying to figure out the best locations that we could block and shoot these scenes at. And in that process as well, we were trying to cast everyone and get everybody together. And that's when I was introduced to Levon. And Levon and I started collaborating on the character and the story, and working on his performance and stuff. And then, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good, Corey. Thank you. So it took a few days, or about 3 days, I understand, to shoot everything. What would you say was the most challenging part of getting this all shot? And it seems like a really short time frame to get this done, but maybe I'm wrong here because it's only about 10 minutes long. But is this a short time frame, only 2 or 3 days to get this shot?
Yeah, we shot around 3 days over the course of a weekend, like a Friday through Monday. Probably one of the challenging parts was the weather, actually. We came in expecting to shoot around mid-October, end of October, to really capture that fall leaves and that foliage, because that really just gives that sense of place in West Virginia. So it was really important to the story to have that autumn and that sense of changing in the leaves. I thought that was a nice backdrop. So we actually had to keep on pushing back a few weeks to make sure we got those leaves. So it was just a matter of having to stay out there a little bit longer, keep on working, keep people motivated, and everyone's patience, just to wait a couple of weeks and take a little time so we could really get the leaves and everything like that. I would say another big challenge was trying to shoot our big one-shot scene. There's a scene about in the middle of the movie that's probably about 2-3 minutes long, unbroken camera and performance. And the first day we tried to shoot that, we got rained out, so we kind of moved things in our schedule, so we had to go back, try to find a time to do it, make sure the light was right. And that was one of the scenes we rehearsed the most. Levon and Trey were very committed to getting that one done, because that was a very challenging scene to do it all in one unbroken kind of camera move. And the intent behind that was just so you can feel that participation and like you're there with the characters and kind of experiencing this moment like in real time and stuff like that. And that was one thing about the film. We were really trying to have a sense of participation and that you're there with the characters and had a certain realism and naturalism to it. And real quick, just to go back to what Steven Dunn was saying about the empathy and tenderness, that is definitely one that the heart of the film is, different mentors in your life and unexpected mentors and having empathy for other people that are going through tough times, and like the decisions that you have to make as you're becoming a teenager into adulthood, and about whether you're going to stay in your town, whether you're going to leave, the people you're hanging out with, and just the choices, but also the deep connections and that bond and that mentorship that you have from all the people around you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, why was the decision made to have this be a short film as opposed to a longer length film?
Well, I would say one of the reasons was money. It costs money to do all of this, and the number of minutes you get on a film, long or short, the more money it costs. So we did it with what money we could do, and we thought that was a good way of putting the short film together, and perhaps a longer film could come out of it. But we wanted to put the short film together first.
Right, and Vernon, I think you mentioned you contributed some money toward this. What was the budget for this film?
Right around $10,000 is what the budget. It came in a little under $10,000, and that was a lot of people doing the work because they liked the project, and that we did it in West Virginia as opposed to Hollywood or New York or somewhere where all of the costs would have been a lot more. We did have somebody in Kimball that wanted to stop it because they really didn't understand what we were doing. They thought we were trying to say something negative about West Virginia or Kimball, and that wasn't our choice at all. And so we ended up getting some people to come in, and really we explained to them what we were doing and why, that we wanted really to look at young people and say, here are the choices that you have. And your life, a lot of how your life will end up will be the choices you make when you're 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And we wanted kids to really get that. And Levon has decided to go into the military as an example, as a choice, which is a much better choice than selling drugs, although he may have had more money in his pocket at a younger age. But there's a healthy price for that. And a lot of people don't get that. They don't get that most people that sell drugs end up in jail. They end up addicted to it, or they end up in the grave. And they may have some quick money, quick right on, but longer term, it's really detrimental to themselves, to their families, to the community. So we really wanted to put that out. And we didn't give it a conclusion, but hoping that we could put out there in a very strict, kind of straight way, here are choices. And if harsh choices are between carrying garbage or selling drugs. And those were the two choices. And some people were trying to get him to do the garbage, which ends up in it's not a job that's respected, but you don't end up in jail or in the grave behind that job. Or selling drugs where you get quick money, but you can end up in the very harsh kinds of ways in life. So we wanted to do that, but given the money that we had, short film was what we decided to do.
Right. So Vernon, it sounds like there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this film. Why do you think some folks, like you mentioned that person that thought that it was like bringing some kind of negativity to Southern West Virginia, why do you think people might interpret it that way instead of looking at it as lessons and life choices?
Oh, he said it was the reasons because that's what most people come with a film. If they come out now with a camera, they're talking about and wanting to put out how bad things are in West Virginia and how poor people are and the poverty and opioid problems and all of that. So they just automatically assumed that's the message we were trying to get across. And after we explained it to them, they backed off, backed down. They didn't sort of donate any money to the cause, but they didn't cause us any problems either.
Right. Well, we do have to take a quick break before we go. Levon, that's great that you're going into the military. So I want to thank you for making that choice and for serving our country. Guys, one more break. We'll be right back after this. Much more to talk about. Stay with us. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. This morning, we're talking all about a short film. It was shot right here in West Virginia. It's called The Usual Route. Joining me once again, I have the guests that have been a part of this. They're West Virginia natives. They live here. They worked on this film right here in Southern West Virginia. So guys, again, thank you so much for joining us and shedding some light on this short film. And I want to let our viewers know also you can watch it free on YouTube right now. So just go into YouTube and type in The Usual Route and you'll see it right there. So guys, I watched the film today and I did notice like throughout the film there are cuss words. So I would say that this film, from my interpretation, is for a mature audience. Would you guys agree with that? I guess jump in on who our demographic is supposed to be here.
Mature, I don't know. I think a lot of kids cuss more than adults, so maybe it's for kids also, possibly.
Right.
But it is a mature movie, like some of the themes, but I think that's what the movie hinges on in some of the book too. It's like this mixture of childhood and adulthood. So it's like, what do you do as an adolescent? What type of responsibilities you have that may be more adult for you? So I think a good demographic would be teenagers to adults.
All right, and Steven, remind our viewers.
I definitely agree with that.
Oh, sorry, Corey.
Sorry.
One more
definitely. Sorry.
Sorry, there's a little bit of lag here with the Zoom. Back to Steven real quick. I just want to remind our viewers the name of your book, Steven, and where people can purchase that if they're interested in reading the book to go along with the film.
Oh, the name of the book is Potted Meat, and you can purchase it on Amazon or Small Press Distribution would be a good place also, but Amazon would be a good place. Okay,
Corey, back to you.
Oh, yes, and what Steven was saying about the demographic and the age group, I totally agree that it's maybe not for young kids, but for the older kids, I think they could actually relate to it and take some stuff from it and actually see themselves and perhaps their friends and people around them, and even people that know other people in that situation. So I think that it's definitely relatable for like the older kids and also adults as well.
All right, well, there were several actors involved with this film, and I want to let our viewers know you will see someone in this film. You may recognize him from the Bluefield community, but Patrick Peavy, he passed away this year after a motorcycle accident. So guys, tell us more about, I guess, Patrick's role and how this film could be a way to kind of honor him.
Patrick, oh, go ahead.
No,
There you go,
Levon.
Levon.
Well, Patrick to me was more like another father figure to me. Like Patrick, I've known Patrick all of my life. Like he practically raised me, and I was always around him. So it's like whenever like we found out that he was like gone, it just shocked. It was just like, wow. And I was just like working like it was like a bond that was unbreakable. Like whenever he died, it was just sad and heartbreaking.
Yeah, Vernon, you want
And Patrick had this wonderful humor about himself. He carried it, and matter of fact, you had to. It didn't take you too long to know that it was a lot of humor. He liked life. He played with life. He played with words and so forth. So he was just great to be around. And I only got to know him on set. And it was nice being around the man. And I rode a motorcycle. So I found out about it. It also bothered me that he got hurt on the motorcycle.
So what character did Patrick play? What was his role in the film?
Patrick played the role of Russell. He was kind of like the stern mentor over Levon's character, trying to show him a hard day's work and stuff like that. But Patrick wore many hats on the production. He was there from start to finish. He provided all the cards, recommended locations. He was building stuff for us. He was at rehearsals, just even when he didn't even need to be, just hanging out and watching Levon and Trey do their thing and being a part of the whole film from start to finish. He was, if you look at the credit list and Patrick's on there about 3-4 times because he's just going to help enough and just always bring that positivity, those good vibes. And that was a tough loss for Bluefield, for his family, for everyone. And we're just glad that, you know, some people can see him again and remember him a little bit in the movie. And yeah. Rest in peace, Patrick, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, tell us more about how local businesses helped with the film.
I can start with that one real quick. The businesses were instrumental, especially with the rehearsal space. Kita over at the Hair Queen off Bland, her business, they let us spend countless hours there rehearsing with Trey and Levon and using their facilities just so we could have a spot to, you know, rehearse like in private and just talk about the film. So that was instrumental, just how much time she gave us with her facilities at the Hair Queen. So I recommend everybody go check that spot out. They got great barbers and hairstylists and everything. Then also the Gary Bowling's House of Art. I've known Gary for years. He's just was really excited to help support the film and gave us access to parking and some of the locations around his area that we could use and kind of stage equipment and gear and food. And also the East End Church, they did something very similar. They let us use their facilities while we were shooting some scenes around that area. And we're just excited to help us to get the project made.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Corey,
Chick-fil-A gave us some food too. So shout out to Chick-fil-A as well. And I think it was the Bluefield one at the mall. So thank you very much for them for helping us out.
All right, cool. Shout out to all the businesses, guys. We have about 3 minutes left in the segment total. I do want to ask you about the film festivals, though. Quickly touch on where your short film has been screened and the importance of that.
Well, I think the importance of seeing at a film festival is just that audience experience, that audience engagement. This film is really special watching it with a group of people and just seeing how they react to it, the thoughts they come up with, and their different emotions about the ending and what they think is next for the character. So I think it's something really special, the experience with the audience. So the festivals definitely allowed that outlet just to see it on the big screen and experience with a group of people.
And I went to 2 of them, Mel, and one was at West Virginia University, and the other was the DC Film Festival. And greatest fun part was being on stage after the film showed to answer questions from the audience, and that was a lot of fun. The one in DC, Corey and I was there on film. I would love to have had Steven and LaVon there with us to talk about the film. And it's just fascinating to do that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. How long will the film be up on YouTube, guys, for everyone to watch? How long will it be free up there?
Forever.
Forever.
Okay, as long as YouTube exists,
Yeah.
people can watch the film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we have about a minute left in this segment. What do you guys hope our viewers take away from watching this film?
Well, I hope our viewers take away, like young people especially, like it's not the type of lifestyle that you should want to be around. Like you shouldn't want to be around it. You shouldn't want to be a part of it. So I just say like stay positive, look for like better stuff to do in life, because like there is better ways.
All right, LaVon, thank you for sharing that. And I want to thank LaVon, Corey, Steven, Vernon, all of you guys for joining us. Again, the film is called The Usual Route.
Thank you.
You can find it right now on YouTube. Just go onto YouTube, type in The Usual Route. It was made right here in southern West Virginia, and all of these guys have West Virginia roots. So they did a great job putting this film together, and it's available. You heard them. For as long as YouTube is up, you guys can go there and watch the film. So thank you all again for joining us.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that does it for this edition of In Focus. We'll see you all next Sunday. Have a great day.